Hey everybody, it's SmallgGay. Tangled. I just saw Tangled. I'm really late seeing it. I'm recording this the Monday after the shootings in Arizona. I've been waiting to see Tangled since Thanksgiving when it first came out, and it was the kind of thing where the fact second I never quite got around to seeing it, and he just keeps putting it off, although he insists he wants to see it with me, but I'm like, at this point, come on, that thing's not going to be in theaters much longer. I mean, there was only one screening of it today where I went, but it was worth it. I really enjoyed the film, and it was ironic. It was very ironic because I had to tell you guys, I kept thinking about this weekend and the Democrats and the liberal media, the minions of the Democrats and the media, who were accusing Sarah Palin of being and all the Tea Party, all of us, me, being an accessory to murder. I kept thinking of that, about how insidious that scare tactic is. I mean, it's beyond scare tactic. It's like a full-blown threat. It's basically like a cry for action. That backfired but isn't that amazing that they would go for it anyway, not knowing what he was about? I mean, it backfired because the guy's a leftist, which is what always happens. Even Tim McVeigh was not a traditional conservative. Anyway, so I kept thinking about that, and I kept thinking about something that I was talking to last night with my friends Charles Weinkoff and Lee, about how this has been a steady climb. You know, it's like Palin was, see, I'm turning Tangled into a Palin blog, but it's also turning Tangled into something relevant for now rather than what was happening at Thanksgiving. It's like this, it's a steady dehumanization. First, Palin is a moron beneath contempt. Then she's a barbarian. Then she's dangerous. What she says is dangerous, and then she's full of hate. It just keeps escalating, and now she's a murderer. Now she's a murderer. In their minds, they have been programming their people to be so terrified of her to an inhuman extent, which means, of course, that Palin is very charismatic and a real threat to them politically. But I kept thinking about the Democrat Party watching Tangled, and here's why. Mother Gothel is the Democrat Party. Watch Tangled again. If you've already seen it, you might already see what I'm going to. She forces Rapunzel to live in fear of the outside world. She forces Rapunzel to be fearful and suspicious of everything that is not in her tower. She forces Rapunzel to stay isolated in a little tower under her control. She controls everything Rapunzel reads, everything Rapunzel is allowed to do, everything Rapunzel eats. Mother Gothel is the left. Mother Gothel is the Democrat Party. I am serious. I could not believe the narcissism, the manipulation, the pretending to care when it's all about something else. I have never seen, it was unintentional of course, but I have never seen a better portrayal of the personality of the Democrat Party as a collective, as a whole. Beyond individuals, the nature of that beast is Mother Gothel. Now, I know people are saying, oh, that's so mean to say. Well, at least I'm not saying they're murderers, am I? I thought Tangled was delightful, as everyone else does. As a student of animation, I love the combination of the Pixar computer animation combined with the impeccable, incredible Disney design. Disney can't be beat for character design, for background design, and also Disney can't be beat for finding interesting new twists on classic stories. There were a lot of interesting twists in this story. I'm also into fairy tales. It's interesting that in this version of Rapunzel, Rapunzel is a princess. Remember, in the original version, she's just the daughter of a poor, woodcutter or whatever. And the neighbor next door, remember his wife is pregnant and she wants a rapin next door, which is like a radish. And the woman next door is the witch, and she will give her a rapin. The wife is pregnant. She has a craving for the rapin, and she'll have that only if the wife can have the child. That whole backstory was just completely tossed. And instead, they made Rapunzel the princess who's been kidnapped. And the prince, remember, in all the Rapunzel versions, it's a prince who comes and sees her. In this version, the prince is a thief. I mean, he's a rogue. He's a lovable rogue. And so they switched the roles there, which I thought was interesting. I've seen the mother-daughter relationship between Mother Gothel and Rapunzel handled very well in other formats, but I thought this version was just as great. And I'm not going to tell you too much, but the ending, the final scene with Mother Gothel, I thought rivaled Star Wars. I really did. I thought that was like straight out of Star Wars. I thought that was incredible. I mean, that level of excitement. I thought that was amazing. I love dolls. I loved how the characters looked like dolls. I think that there was a level of design and artistry that went beyond anything Pixar's ever done. The detail, the humor, while it was often kind of modern and kind of like a screwball comedy almost with lots of one-liners, there was nothing that would date the film. And that's a problem with a lot of the Pixar things. They tend to be a little too glib and a little too trendy with the stand-up comedians. I love the music. Disney does it again. I thought it was a really interesting combination. I hope that Disney still does sell animation, but I thought that this was an interesting experiment. Obviously, most people did too. It was a huge hit. So, who knows what else Disney could do. And I kept thinking also, maybe Disney could remake some of their earlier fairy tales in this new format. That would be really interesting too. Peter Pan, would be amazing. Alice in Wonderland. There's a lot of films that they could do that would be really interesting in this format. But anyway, be that as it may, I loved it, and I really enjoyed it. And think about what I said about Mother Gothel. I'm going to post one of her songs. She has a couple of songs. The first one is the subtle threats that the Democrat Party tells its followers when they're trying to charm them into doing the right thing. And the second one is when the followers rebel a bit against the Democrat Party and how they squash that, both songs. I think I'm going to put the first one up in my favorite so you can see it there. Mother Knows Best. Check it out. Even if you've seen Tangled, check it out with my new insight because I think it's really an incredible parallel. I really enjoyed the film, and it was a perfect thing to take my mind off the real-life horrors that have been happening. And so there you go. SmallgGay. Signing out. Loving Tangled. Bye-bye.